Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again. I finally came back. I needed to recharge my batteries. I was so worn out because the summer was really disappointing. But we're not going to end the summer on a low note. Now I'm reviewing a. We're back to movies with actors that I like or love. This has a mix of things, of actors that I do really like. It's the 2020 movie. So you millennials that think I review only old movies, well, this is a movie that you probably have heard of. It's Netflix's movie family film, The Sleepover. Yeah, this movie was actually good. It's a movie, it's a comedy for kids, because it's mostly a kids movie, but there's some stuff for adults that's not too fresh. There's no curse words in it. There's no sexuality or anything. It's safe for your kids to watch. Kissing Booth too. No, that's not for kids. But yeah, I did like this movie. I watched it on Netflix a few days ago. It's hilarious. I think the cast is really well done. You have Ken Marino's in the movie, and he was on what was it, Adult Swim's, was it Children's Hospital, and a lot of other stuff. He's a good actor. He looks like Robert Carradine. I think he does the best he could. He's the nerdy dad that doesn't know what's going on, and he does a good job as the dad. The mom is played by the always lovely, the always talented. Yes, I said talented, guys. Get over it. Actress from Watchmen, Malin Ankerman. Yes, gorgeous Swede Canadian actress from Watchmen and Couples Retreat and from the Heartbreak Kid remake and a bunch of other stuff. That I like her stuff, guys. Even the Final Girls, where she dies in the first 5 minutes. She plays a character in a movie with her daughter, and she plays a mom really really well. I've always liked Malin Ankerman. I don't know why people are like she can't act. Have you seen the people that have acted in the new Star Wars? Or in the recent freaking Charlie's Angels or Terminator or whatever. There are people in those movies that cannot act. Like that new John Connor, that's female. Yeah, get her out of here. I'm not interested. The movie came out last week on Netflix, August 21st in the U.S. and probably the same day in Canada. And it has a massive cast. It has, like I said before, Ken Marino, Malin Ankerman, mwah, gorgeous. Two words: pink dress. You'll remember that pink dress. Joe Manganiello. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name. It's really long. He was Flash Thompson in the first Spider-Man movie, the live-action Spider-Man movie that Sam Raimi did. It's good. He's aged really well, and he's a good actor. I like him. There is a twist, but I'm not going to say anything because if in case you haven't seen it, you have Sadie Stanley. This girl has been impressing me a lot lately. She's no Caitlin Dever, but she's a cutie. She's been on the Goldbergs. She was the live-action Kim Possible, and she's in this movie, and she's really talented. I could say she does her own stunt work. She plays the cello. Her character is very likable, and she's human. She's not a superpowered OP being. You also have Cree Cachino. She was in Game Shakers. I never cared about that show. She's cute, but her character speaks Spanish randomly, and I was not a fan of that. That's one of two things I was not a fan of, but I'll get to that. But the kid that steals this movie is freaking, what was his name? Let me go to this kid's name because he's hilarious. He steals the show. Marvel has got to get this kid for a big role because he's hilarious. Um, Maxwell Simpkins as Kevin. This fat kid or chubby kid is hilarious. He's the funniest thing in the movie. He has a lot of charisma. The moment that he was dancing in the bathroom, I'm like, they nailed it. This kid's gonna make me laugh. I knew what tone the movie was setting for me, and it reminded me of the scene in the bathroom with the Joker dancing like this and when he was dancing on the stairs. It reminded me of Joker. And see, a less dark moment of the movie, which a light moment in a dark movie that it reminded me of that, and it was a nice nod to that. And this came out after the Joker, so the director definitely saw Joker for that scene in the bathroom where he's dancing and near the urinals, and then he uploads it to YouTube or whatever and it becomes it gets over 2 million hits. Yeah, it has a lot of recent techno lingo, like millennial lingo, like likes and followers and all that. And yeah, it has that, but it doesn't, and people on their phones, but it's not all of that. It's not the Emoji Movie. Lucas J is the movie. He's the Asian kid that's pretty like hyperallergenic, like he doesn't like to touch things or eat certain things. He's very careful. He looks like Bruce Lee. Yeah, that's not racist or anything. He has a bolt haircut like Bruce Lee had in the 70s before he passed away. May he rest in peace. Yeah, he's good in the film. He's a cute kid. These kids are very talented. I think they're better than the kids that had to endure those horrible adults in Upside Down Magic. Because that movie, I like the kids, but the adults were assholes. Here, the adults actually have personality, and they are. This movie's a lot more progressive than I thought. Not just for the cast, but there's things in it that I liked as well. You have Anuka Ukuma as Elise, the dark figure. She's one of the villains in the movie that goes after the mom, and she sets them up and tries to kill her. She's actually decent in the movie. Eric Griffin is Henry Gibbs. Who's that? Is that? Oh yeah, that this guy doesn't do much. He's the mustache guy that gives all the exposition on his how Marlon Ankerman's mom was. She's Canadian. That's a nice nod. That's good to for my Canadian friends on YouTube, Evan and Ty Jensen and the other Josh Baker. Yeah, it's good that they have a Canadian in this movie and they don't dwell on it. They mention and then the kid's like, "So wait a minute, we're Canadian." I'm like, he's funny, man. I love that kid. Um, there were some characters I didn't like the pizza guy, Harry Aspinall as Baxter. He's the foreign actor in the movie, but he doesn't do anything. Like he kidnaps the mom and like sets up the that we're gonna hold her hostage until you come give us what we want, and then he doesn't show up again in the movie, so he's pretty much useless. Um, Mrs. Paddock is the Asian, the Asian kid's mom, Lewis's mother. She's not in the film much. She's in two scenes, so I don't say anything bad about her. But the film, it looks great. Like this director, Sai, she did a good job. She did one of the Step Up movies and Pitch Perfect 3. This is freaking better because Pitch Perfect 3 was a forced sequel with with a bunch of girls, and I'm like, it ran its course, guys. People stopped caring after the second one. I like the actresses in it. Anna Kendrick and Haley Steinfeld and whatchamacallit, what's her name? Brittany Snow, but I don't like Rebel Wilson. There are no Aussies in this movie because it wasn't filmed there. I think it was filmed mostly in Canada and in another state as well. Like because the movie is a state, but yeah, Patricia Marie C. She did a good job with this because she got a really good script and she had a great cast behind her. And she also did. She was the choreographer for God Bless America with Joel Murray and with Taryn Lynn Barr. That was a good movie too. It's just I don't like the ending. This movie was a lot of entertaining moments. There's action sequences, and I'm like, JJ, why didn't you direct the movie like this? You have Marlon Ankerman freaking taking a flagpole, breaking it in half, and using it as a stick. Again, why didn't we see that in The Force Awakens without freaking superpowers? Malin Ackerman actually has skills in this movie. It's really her doing it mostly, and a stunt woman for some scenes that are too dangerous. But again, she's doing this without superpowers. So eat an asshole, freaking rehash trilogy. This is how you get a strong woman without forcing it down our throats. Even Ken Marino has some moments that shine. There's a scene where he pretends to do a French accent when they're going to like this ball or something. That's a funny scene. But there is one scene that is disgusting. It's the worst scene in the movie. And no, it's not. It's not a spoken joke. It's a physical gag. It's awful. They meet this gorgeous black princess. Yay for progression! I love that. And her prince is I think like Indian, either Hindi or Middle Eastern. He's also of color. It works. It's progressive and it's not shoved in your face. It's non woke, and I like that. I'm like, oh, Netflix is actually progressive. I love that. Disney tries to be progressive and they force it in your face. Here, it's done well, and Sony tries to do that too. But there's a scene where he swallows something and he wasn't supposed to, and then he starts vomiting, and it's basically a horrible gag from a Family Guy episode where they're drinking this Epicac and they start barfing for 2 minutes. It's disgusting. I thought that was just really gross. I'm like, you don't need vomit in a movie. It makes me sick. I already saw Venom last year, guys. I know what it's like to be nauseated. That movie nauseated me from beginning to end. Other than that scene, all the other gags are funny. Like the fat kid, just his dance scene made me laugh. His Spitfire delivery, the scene where he's on the spy car, or that cool car, and he's like this and posing. I'm like, he knows what he's in. He's a really talented kid. He. You know what he looks like? He looks like Sean Astin from The Goonies and from Lord of the Rings. It's like if Sean Astin had a son that looked just like him. The movie got a pretty decent score on Rotten Tomatoes, a 70%, because it's fun. It knows what it is. It's not overly violent. It's not woke. It's not freaking 2 hours long. It knows that the audience is catering to, and it's rare to see Netflix do a kids movie that isn't animated. You can do it, Disney. What's your excuse this year? Artemis Fowl. What was that? That's a confusing mix up of a book. Your main character is a villain. Why didn't you just go with that instead of making him this anti-hero asshole kid that sounds like a robot? This kid is not a robot. The kid that plays Kevin is amazing. He has pizzazz and he has expressive eyes and he's very animated. This kid is like this ridiculous therapy. I'm a robot. Beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. That's him. That's him for the whole freaking movie. I know. I saw clips on YouTube. I know enough. Um, the film's very funny. It's lighthearted, except for the vomit joke and the Spanish, which I thought was real. I'm like, Cricatino can speak Spanish. I looked her up. She's part Spanish, so and Italian. So whatever. That's just something I'll have to deal with. She's not in the film that much. She's in some of it. There's a lot of scenes with the adults. The adults are talking, which is actually done well done because the actors actually talk like human beings and not cartoons. There's some cartoonish things like there's literally a scene where Mullen Anchorman is going to fight the black girl, and instead of because they don't want to be racist, instead of killing her, the Marino drops a freaking chandelier on her like a Looney Tunes cartoon. It made me laugh because I was not expecting that. It's funny, like the movie. You got to see it if you have Netflix. I definitely recommend it. It's hilarious. Like it's got a very worthy cast, and it's not just white people. It's very interracial because you have an Asian kid, a Spanish girl, and a Canadian, and you have some black people in the movie. It's very progressive. I'm very shocked. This is the most non woke movie I've seen on Netflix all year, honestly, because it didn't force agendas and it was funny. I laughed. I haven't laughed this much at a kids movie since Sonic the Hedgehog, another really good movie from 2020 that was for kids. See, if you put the effort, people will watch it. It's trending on Twitter and it's trending as one of the top 10 movies of this month, and I'm like, it deserved to. Disney Plus had Hamilton. This is their Hamilton for Netflix this year. Not disgusting things like the wrong Missy and freaking Lovebirds and freaking 365 days. What, you want to horrify people, Netflix? These are the kind of movies I want to see. Entertaining, not stupid cartoon comedies or freaking disgusting rape movies like freaking 365 days. No, none of that. That's garbage. That should be on freaking direct to video land, not on your streaming service. This is more the kind of film that I wanted this year. If I had a top 10 this year, this will be one of the movies on my top 10. It entertained me that much. Not my top 5, but at least like 9 or 10 because it made me laugh a lot. And I wasn't even going to review this movie this month, but it left an impression on me. And the fact that the movie was very funny and charming without having to have it didn't have penis jokes, it didn't have ass jokes, it didn't have vagina jokes, it didn't have any of that. It wasn't needed. And the film worked well for a Netflix movie that should have been in theaters. Oh, it flopped. Well, because of the coronavirus. If it wasn't for that, Onward would probably not have bombed. Birds of Prey probably wouldn't have bombed. Scoob and Trolls World Tour would have been released in theaters. But because of scares, they're like, no, we're going to just dump it on streaming. This was worth it to see on streaming, and it would have been a great movie to see in theaters with a crowd just laughing their asses off. Because that's what I like to hear. Not groaning and cringing for every stupid joke that they've done from the 90s. This was very fun. Even the soundtrack was pretty good. And the film was shot well. The action scenes, I can see them. They're not in the dark like Solo. I can see everything that they do. It's well edited. It's well choreographed. It's fun. It's a good movie. I can say it's a good movie. Some people like, oh, this is trash for kids. They could do better than this. What better? Onward? Yeah, sorry about that alarm. But anyway, it's a good movie. Watch it on Netflix. There's two things I don't care for. Like I said, I don't care about the vomit scene. That's disgusting. And the Spanish, because it's just a personal preference. I hear it all the time in movies. And it's just, I heard it in Bad Boys 3. Don't need to hear it here. But anyway, it's a good movie, though. Watch it at least once. It's worth your time. And if this gets a physical release, I want to get it because it's fun. It was a really entertaining movie for 2020, and that's saying a lot because there were so many movies that could have been great and were pushed to 2021. But hey, at least 2021 will have a second chance to get it right. But it's a good movie, and I'm very surprised that it was because a lot of films were not good in the beginning of this year, especially in January and February. But anyway, that's my review of The Sleepover from 2020 on Netflix. Not the movie with Brie Larson from 2004. This one's better. I laughed more. I was entertained. Even my parents were laughing or smiling. I haven't seen that since Sonic came out. And again, this is the best kids movie that came out this year. That was not animated. Hear me out. Not animated. So Onward, Trolls, Scoob, and Soul, when that comes out, they don't count because they're animated. This is with flesh and blood, real people, and they act human. They don't act like cartoons, which is great. Thanks for watching. Take care. My next review will probably be in September. But enjoy yourselves, guys. Be safe. Stay home. Watch some stuff. There's plenty of things to watch on Netflix and YouTube now, and Disney Plus. See you later.